Today's sponsor is Audible.com, who has more than 180,000 audiobooks and spoken word audio products. Get a free audiobook of your choice at audibletrial.com/CA Telecast. This month, we're recommending Star Wars The Force Awakens by Alan D. Foster. This is the official novelization of The Force Awakens, so if you can't get enough of the movie, give it a shot. Go to audibletrial.com/CA Telecast and grab your free audiobook and help support the telecast.
Alright guys, we are back and we're talking about It Follows. I'm here with Satchel.
Sip.
And Paul.
Hello.
You know what? I have a question.
Yeah.
It's a critical thinking question anyone can answer.
Okay.
One thing I noticed about this film, and like every time there's sort of like an encounter, you know, anytime like the poltergeist gets close enough, I noticed that every time that happens, it does something different. And its capacity and our understanding of its capacity like escalates each time. Like first, it's just kind of walking ominously, and I think every time they meet, in my head, I'm wondering what it's going to do. Like they give me the information that, you know, it walks towards you and then you die. You know what I mean? But even though I know that that's the case, each time like that there's an encounter, they're doing something different, right? So,
like the one was like there's like pee coming down the
the peeing thing was real weird.
Yeah.
That's just to make you feel weird. That's all it is. That's like,
yeah. I was trying to figure out if that was like a I don't know, because like the pee thing happens and then like when the kid's mom is like on top of him,
she pees on
like,
him, right? Or is that like an ejaculation thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that's what it was too. I didn't take it as peeing. I thought she was like literally doing him to death.
Yeah, I mean, it could be definitely that.
That's what I thought as well.
And I was trying to figure out like that girl we see that is peeing, and I was like, is that the girl from
the beginning?
Or is that just like some prostitute kind of thing?
I thought it was someone different.
Yeah, she looked pretty different. She had really messed up teeth, so I couldn't really tell. Like they were like blood.
Yeah.
There was like blood on her teeth and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess like its form doesn't always reflect like victims,
right? So
you know
like
what I mean?
that's like the giant guy, the fucking
or like that little kid kind of thing. Yeah.
And then you kind of learn that they kind of have their own thoughts in a kind of way. It's not just a matter of I'm going to get to you and I'm going to kill you, I'm going to take whatever form I want, but like you know, when that kid like when that kid gets attacked by his mother, like at first he just thinks that it's his mother. Yeah. And then like you kind of see like
a weird sexual thing. Like
they're not like zombies.
Naked.
They will break a window. They know to climb through the window.
That was a crazy.
I did love
when the guy
when he
slides
that
in
window and flopped in. Yeah, that was great.
Fucking creepy,
like
dude.
That sometimes they don't just walk directly towards you because you had the man who was standing on the roof.
Yep.
You know,
oh my god, that was terrifying.
Hulk-like powers when they punch you.
Yeah. That was something that was really nice too. Is that we were talking about the camera work, and something I wanted to mention was that when we do see it, it's not always there. You know what I mean? Like the filmmaker, he didn't establish like, okay, once you see it the whole time. Like it still disappears, and we don't, you know, we as the audience don't see it sometimes. Like when it's walking up and it's like the form of her friend and grabs the hair. Like I was like, oh my god, that's terrifying. Like I saw her in the background. And I was like, "Oh, okay. Is that it?"
That was such a great moment of using like our knowledge of who was in that scene, and like the five of them are together, and there's only four of them sitting there, and that might be her. And then she comes across the frame.
Float. Oh my god, float in the background. Yeah, that was so nuts.
But yeah, that was a great part where he grabs her hair, and then that's when you find out, oh, this thing can interact with other people in the world too.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, and even the things that it doesn't do, I'm taking note of. Like when she runs away from it, like I'm thinking, okay, is she gonna run to another room? And then she opens the door, and it's there on the other side of the door. And it's like, okay, no, it's bound by physics. It's bound by physics for whatever reason.
Right.
Yeah.
It can't just walk through doors. It won't just like. It will take bullets for whatever reason. Like there are all these different things. So in my head, I was like, okay, we're learning more and more about what it can do. But I found an article that like recorded Quentin Tarantino explaining how he would have fixed It Follows, because apparently he really didn't like it.
Oh, really?
Like,
really?
Yeah, to the point where like he vocalized it like on the record.
Whoa. Wow.
And he said like Robert Mitchell could have kept his mythology straight. He broke his mythology left, right, and center. We see how the bad guys are. They're never casual. They're never hanging around. They've always got that one look, and they always just progressively move towards you. Yet in the movie theater, the guy thinks he sees the woman in the yellow dress, and the girl goes, "What woman?" And he realizes that it's the follower. So he doesn't realize it's the follower upon just looking at her.
Right.
She's just standing in the doorway of the theater smiling at him, and he doesn't immediately notice her. You would think that he, if anybody, would know how to spot those things as soon as possible. We spotted them among the extras. Like, the audience spotted them. Which
he's
is true.
right, because he sets up, when you see his house, we have all the noise traps and stuff like that. He's obviously like well seasoned at dealing with this thing. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been like on the run for a while. Yeah, I guess that is like a good point.
And then
man, that's got to be a shame to be like an up and coming filmmaker. I mean, who doesn't like?
Yeah, and then have
idolize
part of me is like, dude, come on, shut up.
Oh yeah, I'm
blow up his spot.
What you don't need to do that. Like, keep it to yourself. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, like, it's got to be worth something to be like, hey, he saw it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right.
I guess so.
He saw it enough to give me. I guess you could take it to like an art school kind of thing where you're like, he saw it enough to give me a critique on it.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, that's my fault. That's
for sure. Mind you, abrasively, but yeah, I guess so.
Sure.
Or it could have been just a call and not a talk with a publication. But nonetheless,
yeah.
He's like, the movie keeps on doing things like that, not holding on to rules that it sets up. Like, okay, you can shoot the bad guys in the head, but that just works for 10 seconds? Well, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
That didn't make much sense at the end either.
And then he's like, what's up with that? And then all of a sudden, the things are aggressive and they're picking up appliances and throwing them at people. Now they're strategizing? That's never been a part of it before. I don't buy that the thing is getting clever when they lower him into the pool. They're not clever. And in my head, it's like, could this be a universe where the first circumstance that we happen to see has to canonize every single instance? Or can it just be like you're peeling back a petal of something, like you're slowly peeling an onion and getting to the center? Like, why does it why does it have to be like the first thing that we saw was lore for it? I don't know.
No,
I don't know
I
how
agree
you
with
guys
that.
feel about that.
I thought I really liked the movie, and there are people that similar to Tarantino at this moment that get caught up in those quote unquote plot holes and things like that. And it's like, all right, sometimes you just want to watch, and this is a guy that Tarantino that just wants to watch a movie. Sometimes you just want to watch a movie, and as long as you don't have something glaring in your face breaking it, that's okay. And maybe he's just a little too much, a stickler for attention to detail, and maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, but like at the same time, it's like, dude, you killed Hitler in one of your movies,
right?
You know what I mean? You just like retconned history. Like, I don't know if you can give out pointers as to like character motivation and keeping things realistic. I mean, you know what I mean? But like that's that's kind of like a low blow example. But still, it's like sometimes you just have to kind of like check that. You're like, we're dissecting the motivations of like an STD demon.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You just got to like check your head at the door and just be like, these are the rules of the STD demon, and this is how it is. But I get it. Like, I get what Tarantino's saying. He's like, you explain the rules, and then now you're changing the rules on me.
That is frustrating. That can be very frustrating. Yeah. And I mean, like you guys just talked about Ex Machina, and Nick and I were talking about it today, and there were some things that happened in that I was like, come on. Like, you kind of just like jumped around your own rule that you established earlier in this thing, and that bothers me. Like,
ooh, what part? I'm curious.
It wasn't even like, it was just kind of felt like cheap when he like has all the cameras everywhere, and then he explains that he got a battery operated camera and hit it. And I was just kind of like, oh, come on. Like, that's your high-tech solution to this is just batteries? Like, that's how you fooled this brilliant guy? But, like, I still like that movie a lot. I still like that movie a lot.
Yeah. That's funny.
It just bothered me in the moment. I was like, come on.
That's great.
Something we haven't really talked about with the movie at all yet, and I'm surprised all three of us haven't brought it up yet, was the music in the film.
Oh my god, I love it.
It was amazing. And what was so amazing, I don't know if like, I was more attentive to it because I like Disaster Piece and I know his prior work, or if it was actually jarring that here you have this high school horror film that has this like haunting electronic like kind of still video gamey music in it. Like there's one track in it that is straight up like a transposition from Fez.
Yeah,
like the structure is the same. The steps are the same.
World theme kind of thing. It sounds exactly like that. Yeah.
And it sounds so appropriate there. It doesn't even sound. I'm not like that doesn't work. It's like, no, that's great. That's perfect. This is where it would fit.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's.
I think it's a perfect casting choice because it's obviously the 80s horror movie John Carpenter.
Yeah, it's very John Carpenter.
Homages like are very apparent in this. So like to get someone who makes synth music and makes it
progressive rock synth music. Dude,
it's a perfect casting choice.
Yeah, because that guy is versatile, man. There were some tracks in there that were just so. I wrote down half of my notes because a lot of it was just like half of it is just like time signatures to find out what track was that. I need to find out what track that is.
Right.
Yeah. I think you do. I think his the soundtrack, all of his stuff is on sale on his Bandcamp thing. I think.
And it's on Spotify and YouTube and all that stuff too.
That's a good call.
There you go.
I like it.
What's that?
Yeah, I think it's just a perfect the perfect choice for this. It just works so well.
It's again talking about how you were saying it's very John Carpenter. It is, and the kind of cool thing is like you were saying, Satchel, it's video gamey, so it's very modern. It's got that Bit Crush sound on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it again plays with this idea of time and like, where is this music? Is this music new music, or is it like 80s like horror music? Like what is like where's this coming from? But it feels otherworldly,
Yeah, it's like it's so true. It reminds me when this track started playing, it reminded me of like a few years ago when the OC was a thing, and that guy gets killed, and you get that what you say, and like everyone harped on like how like ridiculous that juxtaposition was, but like if only it wasn't like basic West Coast teenagers, it could have been really interesting. You know what I mean? Like context was everything in that situation.
I never saw it, so I don't really know, but.
You're better off.
Okay.
I love it.
Hey, Nick, a question that you asked earlier that I'd love to talk about. I don't know if you have something lined up to talk about right now.
No, hit me.
What is it?
Yeah, that was kind of something the movie, we finished watching the movie, again, last night, and I found myself just sitting there, just kind of like thinking about what it could be a metaphor for,
because the STD thing is very obvious.
Yeah, definitely. Like the sex thing, I think it's obvious, and it also makes like perfect sense in the sense that like we're all around the same age. We all kind of grew up like when we were. I'm assuming you guys grew up like this too, but like learning about sex, like AIDS was like a very like prominent like thing still. So it was like a lot of like. Horror stories in the sense, not like, of like anecdotal kind of things, but like horror stories of like possibilities and horror stories of like what it does to you and stuff like that. So like I feel like that was always like a fear, and like in like health class they would put like these ideas of like what could happen and like STDs and all that stuff, and like I feel like that's like a big part of it. And like for me, like the AIDS thing like popped out. I was like, oh man, it's like a virus kind of thing.
Right.
There's actually, if you look, I watched all the bonus features.
Oh, cool.
And in it, there's this like 2-minute piece called "What Is It?"
Oh, interesting.
I didn't even watch that. Oh, that's awesome.
And it's comical actually, and it pretty much it unpacks it as a STD.
Oh, does it?
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
It's like this funny like has like VHS tape. Like,
okay, so it's
late
like
90s. Here's what it is,
right?
Oh, that's they kind of lay out all the rules and.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I saw it as.
You know what, Paul? You mentioned an idea when we first started talking about doing this, and I think that's you should talk about that.
Yeah, I think it's the loss of youthful innocence and the awareness of / inevitability of death. I think it's when you gain that sort of like complete acceptance of the fact that you're going to die, and I think that's what it is. I think it is death coming at you, no matter what you do. I think in this it's like a little more direct because it can kill you, but it's going to kill you no matter what you do. It is going, like, those kids that we see at the end of the movie are going to die, because even if they have sex with 100 people and those hundreds of people have sex with hundreds of people, those people are going to die. It is going to slowly and methodically kill people, and even if it doesn't catch up to them before they die, they're going to die before they die. They're going to die. So the whole thing of it is death. You know?
Yeah, I'm completely with you, because I think around like Act 3 of the film, I started thinking to myself, all right, now if I had this and I strategically planned to get this thing farther enough down the line for me to be like relieved of the anxiety that kills me of like having to worry about looking over my shoulder, I don't think I could ever feel free now that I'm in this, because like, what am I going to do? Like, part of me is going to want to keep tabs on the person of the person of the person who gets infected, because they could just die because of natural causes.
Absolutely.
And then it's just the next person in line. Like, how do I know? Yeah, and it's, there's just, and I was just like, there's actually no way out of this. Like, getting rid of this is almost worse than just having it, because you don't, like, because at least you know, like, that you're targeted.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
And I almost took, like, the end of the movie to be like that, too, like,
the final
two of
quote.
them like walking off hand in hand. Oh, well, the two of them like walking off hand in hand with this thing following them is just kind of like they're just accepting
it,
it at this point. And the death thing, I think, a lot of like the quotes from.
Well, so they have the idiot is like a constant. She's constantly reading the idiot throughout the thing.
Yeah,
and the idiot isn't necessarily about death. It's about it's actually about a man who's just very kind and innocent, and people think he's an idiot, but the quotes they choose from it all are ruminations upon death, which I think is really interesting to take those ideas from that novel that isn't necessarily about death. Also, in the classroom, the first time we see her in her college classroom, when the neighbor's looking at her and she sees the old man coming at her in the frock, the professor's reading the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, which is a poem that is about a lot of things, but it is also about the awareness of aging and death.
Interesting.
And the inevitability.
Okay, perfect. Because there were like three major moments where they were reading things, and I was like, "This seems important." I'm trying to objectively understand what's going on.
Yeah,
but
you're trying to like take the words in, but you're also looking.
There's a movie
for
going
it.
on. Yeah,
there's exactly
you're actively scanning for it.
Paul, you're nailing.
Right.
Well, dude, and I think one of the ones I wrote down was definitely like the growing older. Like it just. Time, I took it as time. Like time is just inevitable, unstoppable. Just lumbering, you're lumbering forward all the time, and just relentless. Like you're never gonna like outrun it. No matter how much you try, you're just eventually going to grow older. And the fact that they're all young kids, like that made me like think about that as well.
Well, it's like, and you have sex, and that's like a coming of age moment, no pun intended. And it's like. That's the moment where you start leaving your childish bliss behind to sort of pursue just sex and reproduction. And I think, I mean, the very act of sex is an attempt to continue your DNA and to live forever, in a sense. So, like, I mean, it's like
to stop time.
To stop time through reproduction. So, I mean, like, it's an avoidance of death, and like that's
it is. It's like it's a passing of the baton.
Yeah, it's a passing of the baton.
I will succumb to this, and a better, hopeful, better version of myself will continue on.
Exactly. That dude, that what you just said brings so much light to like the small nostalgic like haiku that Jay says in the beginning of the film, where she's like, "Yeah, well, when I was a little girl, like, I used to imagine that I used to dream that I would be on the beach with like this guy, and we would drive in his car, and like she just has this like really innocent moment,
and she just lost it,
and then she gets knocked out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's in the middle of Detroit, falling apart Detroit, looking at this piece of. But there's beauty there. There's a flower growing out of the ground, like Detroit. Rubble, like Detroit. Maybe it goes back to Detroit being something in the sense that it's like it's a rundown, destroyed American city, but there's still like hope and some sort of stuff growing out of it, and there can still be some hope to be found. The final quote right before that last scene, Nick, that you were talking about is, and the most terrible agony may not be in the wounds themselves, but in knowing for certain that within an hour, that within 10 minutes, that within a half minute, now, in this very instant, your soul will leave your body and you will no longer be a person. And that, this is certain, the worst thing is that it is certain.
Just inevitable.
That's the movie summed up in a quote there before the last scene,
Yeah. I was looking at it as like another, there was like two other theories I kind of had. Like another one was kind of like, I thought about like choices you make when you're younger and like your regret. You know what I mean? Like the dumb stuff you did when you're young and not thinking about the world just kind of like follows you. And you could be, anywhere. You could be on a date and then just this thought just pops into your head and you're like, I was a complete asshole. You know what I mean? Then, and it follows you everywhere you go. And Paul and I, Paul, you were talking about this one time and you said this, like what you thought it was, and it just like rang super true for me watching it again. You were saying maybe it is social media.
I think social media, if it's sort of similarly, I don't know. I think I heard that somewhere too. I don't know if the proof is there, but I think the social media thing ties into what you just said, in that we create this trail of existence behind ourselves, and
that always follows you.
Social media will always be there to, like, now the internet will always be there to kind of just hang over your shoulder.
There's always this long trail, this record of everything you've done. And I was thinking about it too in the beginning with the father's like, what's wrong? Let me help you. He's trying to like figure out what's wrong with her and why she's like acting like this. And it's, parents like don't understand social media. It's like, that's
interesting.
If these kids are like now, like if these kids are the age they are now, like they're growing up in a world with social media, we assume, in this world, and like it's, trailing them at this point.
Right.
But that's like under the assumption that these kids are like now, and this movie isn't like a weird time crunch of like technology and time.
I wonder if that is maybe a message, and maybe that's why that none of that stuff exists within this world, or at least isn't surfaced for us. But I don't know. For me, I'm still convinced that it's a movie about the inevitability of death, the ceaseless
and I
march
think
of death,
that's definitely it's definitely between those quotes and like just the fact that it takes these like horrific forms and then ultimately kills you when it gets to you. It's like the perfect
because it takes the form of her dad, which is an incredibly close and personal death to her, and it's like, my dad died, a person that I knew, and here he is before me, death coming at me.
Like the kids, it was the kid's mom, and then that's all we really saw, right?
I think
we saw like the girl in the beginning died, but we didn't see what it looked like.
No.
Yeah,
we just saw what it did to her, which was crazy.
Which is a weird way to kill someone. Breaking their leg off.
Like breaking her leg like the wrong way, and I think her foot was like off.
Ugh.
It was a lot.
That was a really like a great smash cut. The starkness of that smash cut was awesome.
What's really interesting is like that shot especially. I don't know if you guys ever watched the show Hannibal, but there's all of the like deaths in that movie are like that. It's this weird mix of gore, but like beautiful gore. It's really, really interesting.
Like the shot composition and like just the location of it, and beautifully composed, but horrific. Too, like at the end with the pool, I was trying to draw like some kind of significance with, it opening up with her with Jay in the pool, and then like ending, them trying to like. The final battle, I guess, like where she's like the final girl, right?
Taking place in the pool. I was trying to draw some kind of connection there, but I just kept coming up with like a blank. Like I couldn't figure out what the meaning of those settings were.
Embryonic,
other than
maybe?
like,
I don't know.
Yeah, it could be like the womb, if we're talking about like a life and death kind of thing. I guess.
Yeah, I don't really know. That's a tough one.
That's all I got for that. So overall, would you guys recommend other people checking this movie out?
Definitely.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, I think it's one of the probably one of the better movies I saw this whole year. And especially like I'm not too keen on horror stuff, so when one comes out that's interesting, it just like pops to me. Like I have the Babadook that I've been wanting to watch, but just haven't because I've heard really good things about that. And there was another one, A Girl Walks Alone. I think it's like
The Girl Walks Alone at Night or something like that.
Yeah, it's like Iranian vampire kind of thing.
I heard that's real good too.
Yeah, so it seems like there's like a lot of interesting like horror movies coming out that are kind of moving away from those kind of tropes.
Horror
and
porn
with,
or gore porn.
Yeah, gore porn. Yeah, exactly. Well, cool.
Yeah. I think what's cool about this movie is that it's I don't know. It's very like it's just it's got a lot of style to it too, which is fun. Like you know, I mean, like
it felt like an auteur.
Yeah, it's got
film.
Yeah, he's definitely got like a nice. He's got a good vision. I like the use of the camera work on the actual on the wheelchair when she's in it. I think is really cool.
Oh my god! Yeah, what a great setup for that.
Yeah, like
I wish that it would have stayed on that, but I think that cutting to it down at the bottom is really like striking.
Yeah.
Like you have to see it. You know.
Yeah. I mean, it was just.
But then them running away from when he's pushing her away from it. I was like, oh my god, go.
Yeah.
Because we don't know like what it's capable of or any of that. It's just. Yeah,
you know what he does
the way that
too?
guy did it in the beginning is that's the way you got to do it. You have to like set the person you pass it on to. You got to like set them up for success,
right? Yeah,
you can't just do it and leave them and that's it,
right? Exactly. Yeah,
you're also screwed.
Yeah, he's not. And I was just gonna say he was being really nice, but I was like, no, he was just looking out for himself in the long run.
Yeah, right. And even like when they revisit him, and he's like, "That girl, can you see that girl? Can you see that girl?" Yeah. We all see her.
Yeah, that was great. There's a lot of times where this movie has, I don't know, maybe I'm just bad at this, but it seemed like there were points of light that were kind of impossible, light coming in from areas, like when they're in the car having sex for the first time. I don't think I remember seeing a light post above them, but there is like very bright light hitting that car,
very illuminated,
and it's not the moon because there are trees directly next to other trees that don't have a speck of light on them. So I don't know what it was like a top down light coming from somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, as if it was from a street light, but they were in like an abandoned lot basically.
Yeah, it was weird, real weird.
Yeah, really interesting. I liked that. I loved the way it was shot. I thought the camera work was phenomenal. And like like we were just talking, the camera on the wheelchair was like such a great shot. Such a great touch.
The 360 slow pans are really, really cool. Just some unique stuff. It was nice.
Yeah, really, really well done. I almost felt it felt like the first time I watched Brick or like Moon,
Yeah.
That I was like, I felt like I was like seeing like a future great director.
Yeah.
Well, a great director's who would have like a great body of work, like their first kind of like attempt. It was cool.
Definitely.
Well, cool. This was a great talk, guys. I liked chatting this movie up with you guys.
It was fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. If you guys don't know, Paul and I do continue together. I'm sure you guys know that. Yeah.
The discussion there will be very different.
Yeah, it will be
different discourse.
Much more intense and much more
yelling,
colorful.
More yelling.
Yeah. Well, cool. Great. If you guys like the podcast, please, give us a rating on iTunes. Just whatever you think is fair, whatever you like. We want to hear what you like about the podcast, what you don't like. We'll take your criticism very well, and we'll discuss it and break it down. And thanks for coming on this journey with us, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks. How do I get out of this satellite? Where's the exit?
You just jump into the nether void.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. See ya.